Good morning. Welcome to my channel. Me Too, written by Shima Tiwari. This story is to Murder Mystery Contest, a murder in the neighborhood in the virus hit city. Water touched her floor clad fingers and they began to move clockwise. Her mind wandered. Her fingers moved anti-clockwise. It ruined her video of the tutorial of kneading the dough by the circular motion of hand in one direction. The viewership of our YouTube channel, Simple Yet Tasty, had increased significantly. She had never imagined it would become so popular among millennials with zero or little culinary skills. She deleted the video and started all over again, stressing on the clockwise movement of hand for perfect dough. Within 2 or 3 rounds, her dough was ready. While recording, from the corner of her eye, she saw a shadow behind the curtain of the balcony. She came out of the kitchen. The hall appeared unusually wide and neat. So was the bedroom. She moved towards the balcony. Just then, her phone rang. "Hello," she said. "Hi Mom, how was your kitty party?" Dia, her 7-year daughter, asked. "That went as planned," she said. "Hello Priya, how are you? The borders of our village have been sealed due to the virus, but Pradeep is trying to get a pass. There would have been no problem had you come here with Pradeep and Dia, but you..." Grandma didn't complete her sentence and Priya was glad about it. "Pranam Ma, wanted to come, but I was destined to get stuck here. Things are returning to new normal gradually," she said. "There is a network problem in the village, but we will stay in touch and soon we all will be together," Grandma consoled her. She went to the balcony with her tea. A deserted look of the building's compounds met her eyes and foul smell greeted her nose. Disgusted, she returned back to enter her bedroom and saw a dark shadow across the pigeon's net on the neighboring balcony. She slowly turned to see the silhouette of Rahul. His face was stained with vertical lines of dried blood. His eyes were open, but she knew that he was dead. She screamed, but a weak sound escaped her mouth. She rushed inside and slipped on the floor. Without heeding her scratch, she grabbed the phone and called the police. She then called her husband, Pradeep, the secretary of the building, and informed the ladies' group of her building. She was trembling with fear, and the image of the dead body refused to move away from the corner of her eye. In the local police station, Inspector Ranjit Singh and his assistant Manjit Singh were sipping tea. "Sir, in this lockdown, the whole country enjoyed an extended vacation except us," Manjit Singh sighed. Ranjit was about to say something, but the phone rang. "I am Priya Mathur. There is a dead body in my neighboring balcony. I am speaking from the Gulmarg building. Come soon." A female voice put them in action. Within a few minutes, they were outside an old-fashioned small building. The ground floor was the parking lot. The 3 stories had 9 flats and a gym had been constructed on the rooftop to keep pace with the modern needs. Building's compound was punctuated with big and small trees. The secretary of the building was waiting for them with the watchman rushed towards them. "There," pointing his index finger. The secretary indicated the much obvious dead body. His face was hidden from the mask, but his eyes were full of fear. Soon the forensic team arrived and they all went to the flat where the dead body was seen. The flat was neat and clean with no evidence of tussle or robbery. There were a few bloody stains on the floor from the living room to the balcony. The forensic team was busy scanning the house. Ranjit Singh closely observed the body. There were various 1 cm and half centimeter injury marks of round and square shapes and faint horizontal line across his neck. How the murderer entered the building during the lockdown? What is this strange murder weapon? What was the motive of murder? Manjit asked a chain of questions. We'll find all the answers here in this building, Ranjit Singh said, and they went to meet Priya. They rang the doorbell. The secretary of the building joined them. A woman in her 30s opened the door. She was quite nervous. Seeing them all wearing a mask, she rushed inside to wear one. I am Ranjit Singh, and he is my assistant Manjit Singh. You call the police, Ranjit Singh said. Priya nodded. Tell in detail what happened, Ranjit Singh said, and Manjit started recording her statement. She narrated the whole incident of the morning in detail. While her fingers were busy with the strands of hair escaped from her ponytail, she was sitting cross-legged on the sofa and moving her right leg restlessly. Can you see the balcony? He said, getting up from the sofa. They went to the balcony. The balcony was the same as the neighboring one. While returning from the balcony, he paused for a moment and looked intently at the pale stain of the tea on the floor. Thanks for your cooperation, Ranjit Singh said. The secretary stayed with Priya and they went. Record the statement of all the people within the building and outside its campus. I want a detailed report of Rahul's character. Keep an eye on that lady. She is hiding something. Ranjit Singh instructed Manjit. How do you know? Asked Manjit, scratching his head with the pen. She knew something, that's why her hand trembled and she dropped some tea while going towards the balcony and later slipped on it. Ranjit Singh explained. In the evening, Manjit came with a report about Rahul. He was a 21-year-old handsome boy. Although he claimed to work for some BPO in the night shift, but his bank statement did not show any regular paychecks. He was a wealthy boy with 6 checks of 10,000 rupees each deposited into his account monthly for the last 6 months. The interesting fact about him was that he was acquainted with almost all the women of the building. He was the only boy in the ladies' batch of the gym. How many ladies were in the kitty party of Priya Mathur? Ranjit Singh asked. 6, Manjit said. Find if there is any connection between those checks and these ladies. He must be blackmailing them, Ranjit Singh said. You mean kitty party was a sham to kill Rahul? Manjit asked, surprised. Maybe. What about the time of his death? Did the report of his laptop come from the forensic department? Dustbin. I want to see the contents of the dustbin, Ranjit Singh said. As far as I know, the dustbin was empty. Manjit hesitated. Ranjit Singh looked at him in disbelief. Go and search for a green garbage bag at the nearby garbage collection unit. No. Just summon his maid and interrogate her about the empty dustbin. He started biting his nails. How could he neglect such important evidence? He swore under his breath. The next morning he studied all the reports on his table. The time of death was around 6:30 p.m. and its cause was shocking. Some files had been removed from the laptop on the murder evening. The camera outside the building did not suggest anything suspicious. The watchman confirmed no outsider entered the building. Mr. Pradeep Mathur went to his village at around 6:15 p.m. Bank receipts showed 6 other names than the women of the building. Check the Facebook friends list of the women in the kitty party and match them with the names bank had given, Ranjit said to Manjit. What could be the murder weapon? What could be the motive of murder? How no one heard his cries? Why was the dustbin empty at the end of the day? He had many questions on his mind. He knew the answer were in the Gulmohar building. I know nothing about him. His working shifts made him a stranger for the man, but very popular among women. You can ask any woman about him. Overall, he was a nice guy. The secretary said. He was a good guy and paid me well. I have emptied the dustbin in the evening as usual. The maid uttered like a much rehearsed parrot, fidgeting with her sari. No, I have not heard any cries in the evening. I was in the balcony waving my husband and our daughter. Then the ladies started arriving and we got busy with the party, said Priya. What have you found in the garbage bag? Saint Ranjit Singh asked Manjit, who had retrieved the garbage bag after much labor. Nothing much, some vegetable peels, scrap papers, 2 strings of cotton, and a ribbon, some small black pieces of plastic, and a heel of a lady's sandal. Manjit replied. Ranjit Singh raised his left eyebrows and looked at the maid enquiringly. I have no idea about the plastic pieces. Mrs. Nina Tulika broke her heels while dancing at the Priya Mom's kitty party. She gave it to me to throw in the garbage bag, the maid said. Later in his office, Ranjit Singh smiled looking at Hill. He had reached close to the source of the injuries. He sent the heel to the forensic department. His next target was the motive of the murder. He looked intensely at the small black plastic pieces retrieved from the garbage bag. Sir, 2 names are matched with the Facebook friends list of 2 omens, Manjit said. Dig deeper, you will get more, Ranjit said, and smiled to himself. Bring the other things we got from Rahul's house, Ranjit asked Manjit. There are not many things. Manjit emptied the box on his table. Ranjit observed them keenly. He picked up the mobile phone and removed its cover. There was a slip of online delivery dated 6 months back. Frankel HD Wi-Fi small mini wireless hidden spy camera, cloud-based storage, night vision, motion detection, rupees 3,100 only. A spy camera? What was he up to? Manjit asked, confused. Can those black plastic pieces in the dustbin be a broken spy camera, cotton strings or ribbon? Which can be the murder weapon? Ask the moment of the Gulmahar building to get ready for another kitty party. Tell them to wear the same dress and footwear. Ranjit nibbled on his already beaten nails. In our profession, it is a rare opportunity to be in company of so many beauties. Ladies, I have cracked the case. Please give me your sandals so that I can match them with the murder weapon, Ranjit said, looking at the 6 ladies in their party attire and the maid peeping from the kitchen. Who's the murderer? Manjit asked, perplexed. All the 6 ladies took turns to physically assault him till his death, Ranjit said. The color drained from the faces of all the ladies. Who will confess first? Ranjit dared them all. After a few minutes of silence, Priya came forward and started with a stammering voice. We just wanted to teach him a lesson. It all started when he came to live in this building 1 year ago. He was good looking, very well behaved, and tech savvy. He allured us all through his linguistic jugglery into a fantastic world where the simple homemakers like me and the working professionals like Mrs. Tulika welcomed his help to solve any tech glitch. But soon our absence, videos began to surface on our phones from an unknown number. He had placed a spy camera in the bathroom mirror of each of us turn by turn. One confided in other and the chain continued. Soon we realized that he was blackmailing us. He was the common outsider who had used our bathrooms recently and those videos had been recorded in our bathrooms. He didn't work in any night shift. Blackmailing was his profession. Priya started sobbing. It was all going smoothly. He took rupees 10,000 monthly from each of us. But one day he circulated the dirty photos of our daughters. This was the last straw. We decided to end this by threatening and thrashing him. The restriction of entry of outsiders in the building except a single maid made our task easier. We never wanted to kill him, Mrs. Tulika said. Priya is his next door neighbor. Before going to her house, Tulika and Pragya dropped by his house. He was sitting on a chair. They tied his hands and legs with cotton strings, broke his spy camera, deleted the obscene videos files from his laptop, and thrashed him with sandals. Then I and Priya went and thrashed him further, said the secretary's wife Manjula. Tulika hid the pieces of the camera in the hollow of her heel and gave it to the maid. Lastly, me and Asha Didi went and thrashed him. He must have dragged himself to the balcony, but the building compound was deserted, so no one heard him. We wanted to teach him a lesson, but never wanted to kill him. The youngest of them all, Kirti said, breathing heavily. You should have complained to the police, Ranjit Singh said, and asked them to sit one by one in the police van that had been waiting for them. You too, Ranjit looked at the maid and said. She strangled him with a ribbon. The cause of the death is choking, not injuries. She then put the ribbon, the strings and the heels in Rahul's garbage bag to point the needle of suspicion to the ladies' group. The maid cried, Yes, I killed him. He was a monster who used to blackmail me too. I live in a locality where there is acute shortage of water. He offered me to take bath in his bathroom and placed his spy camera there. The lockdown last month had me cash tight and he was demanding money from me. I knew what all the ladies group was up to. They were busy in the party. I sneaked into Rahul's house. I had an extra key. He had dragged himself to the balcony to ask for some help. I pulled the ribbon from my hair and strangulated him. Ranjit Singh also got on the van with a thought. Why common people are losing faith in the system? Down last